It's Savannah with Country Concert Buddy, and I am here at Billy Bob's, Texas with Drake Milligan.
That's right.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back for the holidays? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. It was great because we got to have Thanksgiving at my parents' house yesterday and had the band and everybody came in, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's great. I get to be home all week and now I get to play the show, which I'm not used to.
Yeah. Nice to have a little day off, though, right before. What's the first thing you do when you get back to Fort Worth?
This week it's hunting season, so I go out a little further west and go out.
I figured. I was like, you released an album right in hunting season.
Yeah.
Now you have to play shows on the weekends. Oh no.
Exactly.
So it's been 3 years since your debut album, and you've had so much growth in your career since then. And you kind of talked about how, you didn't really know what you were doing in the first album. Definitely can't tell. But how did you approach this album differently? What are some things that you learned that you feel like came from that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's, I'm not trying to change my sound in any way, but I feel like my sound's evolved, I guess, in a way. I've written a lot of songs since Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a lot of songs, too, on this record that just didn't make the first record that I've been wanting to cut since that record. Songs that I wrote 7 years ago.
No, we've been hearing those.
Exactly. But there's also some brand new ones that I wrote this year on there. So it was nice. And with Dallas-Fort Worth, I started recording that record in probably 2019, and the COVID hit, and I had to sit on it for a couple of years, really. So it was just different this time, getting to go in and cut a record knowing that it was going to be out. That was cool. And it's just, I feel like I got to dig in a little more. I wanted my first record to definitely be, I put that together knowing that I wanted to go out and have a full set of songs and have a range of songs and a good live set, which means a lot of energy. We have a great, fun live show. But there's also, I've got reached the point now where I've got enough music out that I'm going to play all my songs at the shows. So it's kind of nice knowing that I can record stuff that I don't have to worry about it coming across live. It can live on a record, and if something happens to it, then we find a way to play it live and do the thing. But it's just a freeing thing. It's a songwriter, as an artist. It's nice. And I get to be more of a voice in the studio. I've gotten to get a lot of experience by my belt playing shows and doing that for 3 years now that I didn't have with the first record. And so I kind of activate, if there is a song I feel like I want to set, I can write for it and go for that. Because I know what my fans look like. I know where we play looks like. It's the world I'm living in now. So I don't know. And in that way, I feel like I definitely know what I'm doing.
So are there certain songs that you write kind of with the intention of like, I would have played this live?
Yes. There's definitely some or songs that I find that I didn't write that I go, I would love to play this live.
Are there any on the Tumbleweed one?
For sure. Tumbleweed was one that I felt like I didn't have a song like that in my set. And it felt to me when we're starting to play bigger venues, we're opening up for big acts like Lane and Wilson on the road, and we're playing these big arenas, and that song to me felt like an arena song, So it's kind of like, but at the same time, I cut Old Flames on Whiskey because I wanted to come play here at Billy Bob's.
That's a perfect one for Billy Bob's, exactly. 100%. So with Tumbleweed being the title track, name of the album, was that like you found that song and you kind of built the album around it, or did it just feel like the perfect summary of the songs that you had?
I can't remember how early it came in the process. I do remember when it came in, or at least when we cut it, I go, well, there's our album title. I thought that would be a great title for a record. And I don't know really what kicked off. We kind of just, I just wanted to put 14 songs together as a whole. And that was really my goal, was to find songs that I didn't want anything to repeat as far as sound wise. I wanted everything to feel different, which is what I do every time I go in songs. I want everything to feel different, really, from anything I've done before or anything that's on the record. So that was really the intention, just finding 14 songs that I felt like I could make a good country music record.
One of the things I love about your music is you have such a clear voice. Like it is Drake Milligan. You're not pretending to be anyone else, but you do have very clear influences. So like with the last album, you've got a little Bob Wills and Going Down Swinging. You've got a little Elvis and Long Haul. Yeah. So what are some of the? I feel like I know a few of them, but what are some of the influences you had in some of the tracks for this album?
There's a lot of George Strait in this one. There's a lot of even with songs like "Good Is Gone." I really kind of wrote that kind of with the George Strait kind of mentality of just the idea of a lot of his songs have this great like addictive story in it, and really harmonically, in the studio, I'm doing things like 2000s George Strait, right? That's where I want to go. Girl Like You was another one that was inspired by George. I've always loved his like kind of HB stuff. That's like had a line in the song. That was kind of my antiquity writing, something like that. Just being inspired by that. But it's fun because every time I go down to sit and write one of these things, different things come out. Different influences kind of come into there. So it doesn't become me trying to rip off George Strait, even though I tried to figure out a rip off. But I don't know. There's so many. Hard-Headed Cowboy was definitely Marty Robbins inspired.
I heard that immediately. I was like, oh, this is Marty Robbins ballad.
Lonely 30 is kind of inspired by that 60s kind of.
I was going to ask if there's anything specific with that, because that's my favorite. I think it's interesting when an album will have singles come out, but then the whole album comes out, and there's one that still stands out, and to me, Love Me Good was that song. And I really immediately got that, like you said, 60s is what I thought of, that 60s feel.
Yeah, 60s
so I was curious what kind of inspired you with that, and I love the piano.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend the other day, I was like, piano's not used enough in country music anymore, and I love hearing it.
Yeah, it's used, but not that way. I pretty much, what I told Jim Moose Brown played piano on the track. And Moose is a great songwriter. First of all, he wrote 5 O'Clock Somewhere, a huge song. Wow. But also a great piano player. He's played on so many sessions, played in Bob Seger's band for a long time. But we had demoed that song. I demoed that song very good, and we didn't even have piano. We had more just like a kind of organ kind of part of it. And I was like, man, what if we had like great like Floyd Craven kind of piano? Floyd played on a lot of records in the 50s and 60s. He had a famous song Last Day, very famous instrumental. And I just was like, what if we did that? And Moose just knocked it out. Take one. It's just like perfect. I'm like, oh, this is exactly where I need to go. And to me, it's like I listen back to that track and I hear a lot of me trying to sing like Mo Haggard on there, but also just that kind of Jim Reeves, Eddie Arnold kind of space. That's what I was trying to do.
I love that track. It's my favorite. I'm a little biased. So you mentioned before, some of these songs have been playing for a while. So you did some fast song on the Here. Were there any other songs off this album that were from the vaults that you've been hanging on to for a while?
Yeah, there was a couple of them. Good Is Gone is a fairly old song. I wrote with Monty Criswell and Ray in the Hood probably years ago, and it just kind of flew around. I just always would go through my notes and that song would come up. Man, I love this. Old Flames, Old Whiskey was actually a song that I didn't write, but Jim Beaver sent me that song, work tape, him and his brother played it. They wrote it. Jim and Brett Beavers wrote it, and it's probably somewhere around that first record, or even before the EP. And that was one that was hung out on my phone forever. And I go back to it and go, man, I love this. Something so catchy about this. So that one hung on for a while.
I bet your voice memos go crazy. If someone were to look in your notes app and your voice memos, there's probably a lot of treasures in there.
I don't know. A lot of them are nonsense, That's me sitting in the house and going, I dug through the voice memos of Hard-Headed Cowboy the other day when I was coming up with that. I was sitting in the house and just like strumming stuff, and it's like making nonsense, and somehow that turned into something out of it.
It's like writing a rough draft of an essay, and you just like, by the time you get the final, it's whatever it is. It's like, you just gotta keep working through it, I love that. If you took, Tumbleweed, all of your albums, all of your songs, if you were to introduce a stranger to who you are as a songwriter, as a singer, what would be the song you would pick to show them?
That's tough. That's tough because I feel like I always try to include so many different influences, and I try to make every track so different in their own way, but still somehow fit together everything that I put out. So that's a tough one. I mean, I love beer drinking, honky tonk songs, but I also love songs with a message, melodies. I don't know.
I feel like it depends on the person. Like on the occasion when I show people your music, the song is always different because it depends on what I know they like, and it's kind of feels like Drake's kind of popular. Like whatever kind of country they're into, there's probably a Drake Milligan song for it, which is perfect. So I am a huge Formula One fan.
Oh yeah.
So I have to ask you, how was it being the first grid gig at Formula One in Austin?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, just the worldwide impact of F1 is pretty crazy. And just being on the track. I mean, halfway through sounds like something I do, and I start hearing the cars fired up.
That's crazy.
Like, and then, because they're in the pits, and then they come out for their warm-up lap. And, as we're done, and they're like, literally, like, almost through the song, I'm looking down the track like that, and here they come. And I'm like, well, this is crazy. It was cool because I can't say I've been a fan of F1, but I am now. I totally dove in. I've watched every race.
It's a good time to join.
I've watched every race since, and it's just fun.
Yeah. I'm a big F1 fan, and obviously having it so close in Austin, it's so nice, but I didn't have the money to go this year, and so I was really kicking myself for not going. And then when it got announced that you were playing, my brother sent it to me, and he's like, this is just me. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, the fact that it's Formula One and Drake, I was like, oh man, the Lord's just testing my patience. But I think it's so cool that you did it. And again, that was the first ever one. That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was scary because they built all the star stages to come out there. They had built like big battery packs. You can't plug anything up. We literally had to clear everything, and then they do the grid walk and then race. So it was a lot.
Did you get to how did y'all do sound check? Because I'm sure you couldn't sound
the day
check off
before.
the track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did get to go on the track for that part.
Yeah, the day before, which was fun. We just got to kind of hang out on the track. It was like evening. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. So going back to Tumbleweed, you've got How Much Beer is a song that, again, you've been listening to for a while. Did you always envision that as a duet, or when you came time to cut it, you were like, hey, let's add someone on this?
Yeah, I didn't always, I don't think, but that was kind of an older song. I mean, I've been playing that for years on the road, and I didn't always, and then it kind of came time, somebody maybe around me had mentioned it, like, man, this would be fun to do, like, just with one of your buddies, and I'm like, that'd be awesome. And Randall was the first guy I reached out to. Randall's been putting out consistently great music for so many years, and I just love what he does, and I was like, hey, it'd be perfect for it. I always wanted to do something, with like a kind of the older generation, but it's also fun to get with this new kind of country wave that's going on. These things like Randall on it,
I feel like those voices blend really well together too.
It gives us an excuse to place those too.
Yeah, true. I feel like sometimes there will be a duet of people add someone on a song and it doesn't really match their vibe, and so it's just kind of like, it doesn't sound right. But hearing Randall in that song, it's like, oh, that was perfect. It was sounding great. I've noticed a lot of swing coming back. You had Going Down Swinging, now you've got Pop Texas, but then Jake Bridgerton released one. It looks like Braxton's got one coming up. Do you see maybe some Texas swing coming back in the mainstream?
I hope so. Bob Wills always said that Western swing would kind of, would jump around in waves, and would go away for a little bit, would go back, and we've seen it so many times. Merle brought it back in the 70s, and then George Strait, of course, kind of brought it back in the 80s and 90s. I think it's time.
I agree.
And there's so many great, like I said, there's so many great artists around there. Look at Jacob and Braxton, just really truly great country artists that are out there that are doing it right. That's what it's going to take. It's a lot of people. It's infectious. It's fun. Even stuff I've had like Cowgirl for Christmas. People have responded to that song all over the world. It's pretty Western swing. It's pretty cowboy swing. So. And then Going Down Swinging too, we play it live all over the world, and people that don't know who Bob Wills is love that song, and it opens a whole new world. So I don't know, it's an infectious music, and I think that you can't get away from the influence of Western swing.
Yeah.
There's so many artists that are influenced by Bob Wills, going all back to Rolling Stone, this is great country music, of course, made in my rock and roll. It's heavily influenced by if I wasn't swinging along with us. So, in a way or not, I think subconsciously have been somehow influenced by us. That's my theory.
Well, I think it's cool, especially with a lot of you Texas guys. It's like, this is the music we were raised on, and so it just kind of comes out, which is really cool. And so, I see a lot of you younger guys bringing all of those sounds back. You've been doing that very well for the past few years, and it's just cool. It's exciting. I like seeing it. Anytime anyone's like, country music's dying, I'm like, I got a long playlist to show you that it's not. It is definitely not dying. So you've opened for a lot of people this year. You have Lane Wilson, you have Brian, but you've also headlined a lot lot, and you're about to go on your Tumbleweed World Tour, going back overseas again.
Yep.
So, kind of what's the prep like as far as a headlining show versus an opening show?
I don't know. It's kind of gloves off. The nice thing about what I'm doing right now is every venue, every show is so different. You know, we may go play a tiny little club in Michigan or whatever it is. We come to Billy Bob, or we go up and play 25 minutes, open up a lady in the arena, and it's a different approach for every show. So it's more for me just the entertainment approach. You know, if it's my stage, I know these people showing up for me, it's great. But if it's, you know, ladies crowd, I'm trying to win people over. You know, I'm trying to put my best foot forward. It's like a first date. You know, you don't want to come on too strong. You don't want to not come on strong enough. But it's a little bit, it's that kind of dance, which is fun because I get to go play a giant gig over in Europe, and then come back and play a club, and you know, we have our set for our 90 minutes there. It's like, we know what works. And then I get to come back with all that excitement and go play club and just kind of gloves off and try stuff, and that's where I find the little things that makes a big show happen.
That's awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. You got a lot of good shows coming up to close out the year. You've got Grand Ole Opry, you've got Graceland. So we're excited to see you play Tumbleweed here at Box tonight. Yep. And yeah, thanks for coming out. Everyone check out Tumbleweed. Go get your tickets to see Drake on tour, and we'll catch you later.
Texas to me.